Hey team, welcome to this week's drawing challenge where we look at how to draw a pumpkin using not really any techniques at all. So we're really trying to push ourselves and see how our shading ability and our drawing ability has progressed. Also, it's October, so we kind of had to do something a little bit topical, and I thought this would be a great way for us to see where we're at. So grab your pencils and let's get started. The most natural way for me to approach this drawing was to look at each individual section in the pumpkin. This way I could determine whether it was a thin section, and where the start of the line stopped and finished. Once I did that, I then thought, well, there's a lot of clear light reflections on there. So what if I separate my pumpkin into light, medium, and dark? And this is what we've kind of been training for moments when we see something organically shaped and curious, and it's like, well, where do we start? What can we think about? We can think of a basic structure, we can separate the light sources, and then we can start to add our base shade. You hopefully should remember that any light shading is done with your 2B, any dark shading is done with your 8B. So for now, just place the average values using your 2B, and if anything, or if you're feeling really confident, you can go for your 8B for your dark shadows from now on. So start the shading and let's see how it very quickly progresses. So literally just shade in these sections, light, medium, and dark. And if you're struggling to see the difference between one chunky bit and another, then you can obviously push that middle line in a bit darker. Now, obviously what I'm showing you is a colored picture, and we are shading that in black and white. So if you download the attachment on Patreon, you'll be able to download the black and white version, so it's already made for you and easy to see. Otherwise, you can just challenge yourself and see if you can think about what the shades mean in black and white. I will do a session on this of translating color to the grayscale using your brain. But for now, I just want to see how you deal with it, because it ain't easy. But when you practice enough, you are able to do it without having to change anything. I did it just from the colored picture, and you can see as I'm progressing my shading, it's way too light. If you see them side by side, you're probably shouting, China, that's not dark enough, which is great because that's what I've been telling you guys this whole time. Go darker. And here I am being a bad example and not going dark enough too soon. But because we're drawing organically and just straight from the picture, we're not doing any fancy methods, it does mean that it's a bit nicer to ease into it, step into the shading, don't push it too dark because you're like, have I done it right? But then once you're happy with where all the shades are, you can then push the darkness in. What's really going to help is using that 2H after you've set the values, because your 2H will just fill in all those white gaps of the paper and it will push your shades naturally darker. So go over the whole thing, 2H, it'll smoothen the texture as well. And then to make your whites look even whiter, you need to add a very, very faint layer of background, mainly for the lights at the back of the pumpkin, because this will just show you that actually it is a highlight, it's white, and a little bit of grey behind that will help to push that forward. And don't forget team, if you want extra content or you just want to support me to keep these videos running, you can head on over to Patreon and pledge just £3 a month and get way more content and feel good that you're supporting a small artist. So, well done this week. Thank you for watching to the end, and please share your artwork with me, and I'll see you next week for another lesson.